Hi fans, All Elite Wrestling is coming to Jacksonville in a big week of action. That's right, I said a big week of action, and it all kicks off this coming Wednesday, April the 7th, with another night of AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite on TNT. Gates open at 6:30. The action begins at 7:30. Of course, we take the air at 8 o'clock. Tickets at AEWTIX.com. On the card this Wednesday, TNT champ Darby Allin will take on J.D. Drake. Darby said he will defend his title against all comers. J.D. Drake has stepped up to the plate. In tag team action, Jurassic Express will go up against Bear Country. The event sponsored by Godzilla vs. Kong in theaters and on HBO Max. Plus, Bunny will take on Ty Conte in women's action. We will hear from Chris Jericho for the very first time since the Pinnacle attack this past Wednesday. In a huge main event, Jon Moxley teams with the Young Bucks against world champion Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. That is all coming up this coming Wednesday. It's going to be at Daly's Place. Once again, gates open at 6:30. And fans, we said it was going to be a big week, and that is because we have a special event just for you in Jacksonville, Friday, April 9th. It's called AEW's The House Always Wins. Doors open at 6. Bell time is at 7 o'clock. An event that will not be seen on TV. It is just for you. Take a look at the card for Friday, April 9th. The House Always Wins. A battle royal to determine who will get a TNT title shot later that night. 12 men: Lance Archer, Scorpio Sky, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, All Ego Ethan Page, Butcher, Blade, Dustin Rhodes, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, 10 of the Dark Order, and Colt Cabana. The winner will face Darby Allin for the TNT Championship later that night. The AEW World Tag Team Champions will be on the card. The Young Bucks will team with their best friend Brandon Cutler to take on the Death Triangle: Pac, Penta El Cero Miedo, and Rey Fenix. AEW World Champion Kenny Omega teams with Michael Nakazawa to take on the Sydal brothers, Matt and Mike Sydal. The AEW Women's World Champion will be on the card. Hikaru Shida teaming up with Ty Conti and Red Velvet to take on the team of Nyla Rose, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and the Bunny. You will also see Jade Cargill. She'll be in action. Jacksonville's own Jade Cargill. 8-man tag team match. Jurassic Express teams with Dante Martin of Top Flight to take on the Pinnacle with Wardlow. Eddie Kingston returns to action. He'll be taking on Cesar Bononi for the first time since his injury. Orange Cassidy will be in action, and just announced by Tony Khan, one-on-one, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes will take on Aaron Solo. You'll recall this past Wednesday in that horrible act that we saw. It was Aaron Solo that first rolled in the ring, wielding the chair. With that in mind, I'm going to bring in the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, to talk about the big night coming up on April 9th. Cody, what's on your mind?
Why don't you put that mic a little lower, right around here, and I want you to feel this inhale. So that is, as Doc Sampson sophisticatedly put it, that is the co-activation of my diaphragm during phonation. In short, that is what it's like to breathe and talk with some busted ribs. Courtesy of my student, of the 2012 Olympic medalist, Anthony Ogogo. I'm going to keep the interview right here at this level, and I'm also not going to mention the name of the person responsible for this whole plot. I'm actually going to pull an entirely different thread that you might think is unrelated, but it's quite related. So what do you think I look for when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to training, in terms of a pro wrestler, the attribute that I value the most? What do you think it is?
Determination, perseverance, courage.
Those are all great. That's not it, though.
Okay.
The thing that I look for the most, and you might not hear this that often, is self-awareness. Yeah, because when you're aware, that sentience is real power. When you're aware, you can ask yourself the tough questions. Am I a draw? Am I an earner? Do I look good? How are my interviews? How do I do in the deep waters of a match? And if your answer is negative, well, then you can positively affect change by working at it, by doing the work. And I know that those terms offend some. They offend the lazy because we all know mediocrity loves company. But believe it or not, I am the most aware wrestler there is on the planet. I get it. Oh gosh, he's an EVP. He's coming out the middle, all that pyro. Oh my gosh, and there's a tour bus. Oh, another action figure. Let somebody else eat. I mean, let's think about it, right? I mean, you don't like the pyro, I'm going to add more. You don't like the figures? Well, they sell, so we're going to keep going with them. You don't like the tour bus? I'm going to wrap it with a Nightmare Family logo so it's even more obnoxious. You don't like tweeting about my show on TBS? Well, buckle up, because there's a whole new one coming to TNT. Oh, and you think someone else should eat? Well, go ahead and get your ass in the kitchen instead of expecting that free Morden steak. That's self-awareness. That's running up the score. I went from undesirable to undeniable, and I have no intentions of just handing that away. I don't owe anything to anybody other than the fans who afforded me the opportunity that I have. What do you think that this individual sees when he looks in the mirror?
If I can interrupt you, I don't know what he sees, but I think we all know who you're talking about, QT Marshall. What would you say to him at this time?
I'd say that I hope you see a great trainer, somebody who runs a prolific wrestling school, and a wonderful individual when it comes to back of house, a wonderful employee for AEW, a really nice guy. But what he actually sees is the problem. See, you see this divine gift to wrestling. He genuinely believes he is a good wrestler, but there is no credentials. There is no exposition. There is no evidence to back that up. What? You were an extra at Ring of Honor 30 times? You saw Bryan Danielson in the airport once, you think? Maybe? He's a nice guy, but so is my neighbor. It doesn't mean he belongs in the ring. And speaking of, get used to living with a qualifier. My whole life, I'll use myself as an example. My whole life, I have been Dusty's kid. I'm okay with that. It sharpens. It clarifies my crosshairs. I am aware of what I need to do, what work I need to put in. And to get even more specific, April 9th at AEW's very first house show, Aaron Solo, you know all too well what it's like to be a qualifier. For a decade, you were a baggage handler. For a decade, you were somebody else's bitch. And on that night, you'll be mine. Thank you, Tony.
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Tickets available at AEWTix.com and Ticketmaster.com.